Sonic X Shadow Generations is taking the internet by storm. We've just had 3 different trailers drop in one day and all of the Shadow content looks amazing. Even as I was writing the script for this video, we got yet another reveal, this time showcasing the movie Shadow DLC with Keanu Reeves officially voicing Shadow. It seems like the hype train isn't stopping anytime soon. However, it also seems like people are forgetting that this is a collection of 2 games, and I've barely seen anyone talk about the Sonic Generations portion. From all the footage we've seen so far, this remaster looks exactly the same, with next to 0 differences and improvements. So keeping that in mind, I got to ask, is Sonic X Shadow Generations worth the cop? Now before we discuss whether or not to even buy this joint, let's uncover how much it costs and what you get in each version of the game. You can order the game for about £44.99 here in the UK, and the digital deluxe will set you back £54.99. That's also $50 and $60 in the US, by the way. The digital deluxe includes the base game, and the digital deluxe season pass, which itself has an additional character skin and level for Shadow, releasing holiday 2024, which we found out is the Sonic Movie 3 skin, Terrio skin, extra BGM pack, digital art book plus soundtrack, and skill points for Sonic Generations. But now we've got that out of the way, it's time to discuss. Okay, here are some reasons against. This game has de nouveau. If you're new to this channel or series, you should know that this is very bad. De nouveau equals bad. Well, it's good for the company, but it's bad for us, the consumers. So basically, de nouveau is this anti-tamper software that Sega keeps putting into their PC games. And they've been essentially doing this for half a decade now. And it's supposed to prevent people from cracking the game and making illegal copies. Now, this would be all well and good if it wasn't for the fact that this thing eats up system resources and also makes the game way more intensive to run on PC. Additionally, it also makes it way harder for modders to get into the game files and make additional content for the game. And if you've ever played a Sonic game before, half of the reason to get these things is for the community content. The community is extremely talented and there have been some crazy and amazing mods that straight up turn one Sonic game into another through code injection and crazy hacks. But de nouveau essentially blocks all of this from happening. And to make matters worse, people will crack it anyway. They always do. And the cracked version ends up running miles better than the official copy that people are paying good money for.
Well, that sucks!
Another reason against buying this game is that Sonic Generations is already available for download on Steam, and for way cheaper as well. As they've done with other collections and remasters, Sega will most likely remove the original versions of Generations from Steam to get everyone to buy this one. In fact, it's already gone on the Xbox store. But not all is lost here, as the official Sonic Twitter account, I'm not calling it X, has made a statement about this. It said that the original game will still be purchasable in in-game bundles with other Sonic titles. They also clarified that the mods on the Steam version will not be affected. Now, whether they're talking about just the original version of Gens with this statement is up for anyone's guess, but honestly, this is better than nothing. Now, we can all agree that the Shadow portion of this game looks absolutely stunning, and it's a delight to see the previous locations reimagined with new graphics in the Hedgehog engine too. But the Sonic portion of this game looks exactly the same as it did over 10 years ago. In fact, I can boot into Sonic Generations right now on my PC and record some footage, and it literally almost looks exactly the same. For a remaster, that's not gonna cut it. Yes, the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, is a golden one, especially after the hot mess that Blind Squirrel gave us in 2021, but that's not an excuse for a decade-old game to be re-released with almost the exact same graphics. The only noticeable difference, and I kid you not, is Sonic's quills. Yes, that's literally the only thing they've changed graphics-wise. But that's enough negativity for today, because now it's time to discuss some of the good points. So, I'm just gonna go out and say it. Shadow's part of the game is the only reason why any of us are considering buying this thing. And who can blame us? They could have sold this game as its own title for a cheeky $30 and everyone would eat it up. Shadow Generations is essentially its own full title with animated cutscenes and brand new game mechanics. Like what Sonic Generations did, this game will also be bringing back some familiar locales such as Final Rush, Radical Highway, Grand Canyon from Sonic Heroes, Kingdom Valley, and more, and they all look amazing. There's not a single level here that looks bad graphics wise or gameplay wise for that matter, and everything that's been revealed to us so far makes me really excited for the future of Sonic, because this game is literally Sonic Team reassuring us that they finally got their source back, and that Sonic Frontiers 2, or whatever the sequel will be called, will blow us away. Also, Sega has packaged this game in a really smart way because they've essentially copied the Bowser's Fury formula, and my goodness, that game was amazing. Absolutely one of my favorite Mario games. But this is like a step further because not only are we getting traditional Sonic games in 3D and 2D, a Shadow of course, but also a fully 3D open zone hub world. If this ends up playing as good as it sounds, this game will knock Bowser's Fury out of the park. Not that it's a competition though, these games are both good and can both technically be played on the same system now, so I don't want to see any fighting in the comment section. Anyways, what they've essentially done is combine a $30 standalone game with a straight up port of the original generations. But they have also thrown in some additional improvements which aren't really visible in the trailers, so let's go through those right now. So far in fan recorded clips, we've seen updates to the UI and lives have also been made optional instead of taking them completely away Sonic Colors Ultimate. And even though this remaster of Sonic Generations doesn't look better than the source material, it doesn't look worse either, so I can't complain. This is another Beast Formula game coming to the Nintendo Switch, and it won't be bogged down by dodgy lighting or seizure inducing glitches. Plus, we have to keep in mind that they've given us this to tide us over while we wait for the next big Sonic release, instead of making us wait 6 more years going crazy with leaks and speculation. I've mentioned before that Sega does need to start filling the gap between major Sonic releases, spin-off titles and remasters, and they've done exactly that here, so I'm very happy about that. Earlier I spoke about some quality of life add-ons that this game will add to Sonic Generations, and while there's nothing too crazy, I still think they're worth mentioning. One of the more notable ones is the addition of Chow content, and no, before you say it is not a Chow garden, but you will be able to collect Chow like you would in Red Rings, and collecting this Chow also unlocks some extra content, which is pretty cool. We don't know what that content is yet, but it does add extra replay value to the game, so I'm not complaining. It also looks like you can remap your controls to something more comfortable, and they're even making the default controls play like Sonic Frontiers / Shadow Generations, which is up for debate, but personally I think it's cool that they're making the effort to bridge the gap in the controls, because if you can remember, a lot of people had whiplash adjusting to the difference between Gens and Frontiers controls. Now, this final point that I'm going to bring up can be more or less taken with a pinch of salt, but apparently the story for Sonic Generations is going to be rewritten, most likely by Ian Flynn.
Editor's note, this video was supposed to come out like what, 1 or 2 weeks ago, and I have been so busy and there's been burnout and it's just been some crazy stuff happening. But yeah, the story rewrites are real. They're completely 100% real. I've seen them. Obviously I'm not gonna post any spoilers because I'm not stupid enough to do that, come on guys. But like, yeah, the story rewrites are real. So obviously just watch the rest of the video. I'm still gonna say the same stuff I said. I can't be asked to edit it out, but it's real.
And if this is true, this could just about fix the one part of the game that really held it back from being peak fiction. While the premise is more than fine, most of the cutscenes in Sonic Generations consist of Sonic and Tails, and sometimes also Sonic and Tails, standing there in the hub world and dropping exposition, and nothing else really happens outside of the boss fights. But now apparently all of that is going to change, because there are rumors floating around that they will be redubbing and straight up changing some of these cutscenes. For example, the scene with Amy basically forcing herself on Sonic, that sounds really weird out of context, and also her slamming Knuckles into the tree, will not be there in the final game. This could be to keep her personality more in line with how it was in Sonic Frontiers, where she was more chill and low-key with her crush on Sonic. Now, again, these are just rumors floating around Sonic Twitter, so grain of salt time. Although I do have a few sources who have DM'd me personally about this, so I'm holding out hope. Alright, is this game worth buying, or should you give it a miss? Personally, I'm getting this game, and not because it's a new Sonic and I'm gonna review it regardless as a content creator, but because this game genuinely excites me. Yes, I was originally gonna buy the game and skip OG Gens to get straight to the good part, aka Shadow, but there are a few quality of life improvements here and there that make me say screw it. Let's enjoy the whole thing. Sonic Generations, as bland as the story is not a bad game. It's one that I enjoyed growing up, and it's also one of the games that got me originally hooked on this franchise. And now you're telling me I get to experience it again the way I remember, but this time with quality of life improvements? Yeah, shut up and take my money. If they were just re-releasing OG Gens like this without the Shadow portion, I would say that this remaster is not worth $50. No sir. But Shadow Generations content is such a delicious icing on the cake that I I definitely cannot pass this up. So what do you guys think? Are you gonna buy this game or give it a miss? Let me know in the comments below and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. We are almost at 10k subs. We can do it, guys. Anyways, that's it from me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Temzy out. Peace.